my name's Davey and I'm a big fan of archtop guitars, in particular acoustic archtop guitars. But in this video I'd like to talk about Gibson's migration to electric guitars. And the route they took was to base their electrification on their acoustic archtop models. The first model that they produced in commercial numbers was the ES150. This model here is based on the ES150. It's a faithful replication of ES150 based on a Law 390. The Law 390, very similar to the L50 guitar that Gibson made. The L50 was a cut price L5. It had an arch top that was carved, and the carving gives that powerful output that guitarists were looking for at the time. It's a 16-inch belt model. As an acoustic guitar, the L50 would sell for something like $80. But in this configuration, with its pickup and associated amplifier, it was marketed as the ES150 and it cost $150. Charlie Christian made this model famous, and if you've heard Charlie Christian in his set pieces with the Goodman band, Goodman Sextet, you'll know that he can make this thing sing like a saxophone, which is exactly what he wanted to do. And it was a marker for the way that guitars could move from the rhythm section, where they were a part of the complement of bass and drum and piano, into the front of the band, where they were able to lead on solo lines. So here's Gibson moving into the electronic world. They still kept a foot in the camp with the acoustic models, and in fact the acoustic models were selling in great numbers, because that is what guitars were meant to do at the time. Jazz guitars in big bands were meant to be part of the rhythm section. The very next development that Gibson pioneered, with the help of Walter Fuller, the electronic engineer who joined Gibson in the 1930s and developed this bar magnet pickup, the very next development that Walter introduced was a pickup with a set of pole pieces that could be adjusted. And this model that he pioneered and launched in the early 1940s, the first model had a pickup that stretched from the bridge to the fretboard. That didn't last very long. Maybe about 50 models were made. They found that it just wasn't practical. The pickup was too big and it got in the way of the guitarist. This is the later model of the ES300 that was produced in 1941. And in fact, this is a Gibson ES300. As you can see, it has the crown inlay, and the crown. This was the first model that Gibson produced with a crown in the headstock. It's based on the L7, so the guitar itself is a very powerful acoustic guitar. It has a lot of shout, but by putting the pickup here, they were able to have the guitar sold with an amplifier as a lead instrument. This particular model was launched in 1941. It was the last batch that was made in the factory before Kalamazoo switched over to wartime production and wartime production of radar equipment and wireless systems. So after the war, the ES300 was relaunched by Gibson. Again, it was based on this 17-inch model, the L7, but the pickup was now here, and it was a P90. And the top, instead of being carved, was a ply top. And the reason for that was twofold. First of all, there was a realization that once you put a pickup on a guitar, the sound very much becomes what the pickup can give to you. There's no need to have a very expensive carved top to a guitar when you've got a pickup. Also, they discovered that ply top guitars were less susceptible to feedback. So the model that came after the war, the ES300 that came after the war, was quite deliberately designed as an electric guitar, whereas this model, the ES300 that was marketed just before 1941, just before the factory closed down for wartime production, this is based on the acoustic guitar. Interestingly, Django Reinhardt, when he joined Duke Ellington's band for a tour in 1946, he acquired a Gibson 300, ES300, but that would have been a ply-top model with the pickup here. And in his words, he said he didn't like the guitar because it had no sound. And in fact, he got his agent to bring out to the States for the latter part of the tour, to bring out his faithful Macafari guitar, the one that he was perhaps more closely associated with. But yeah, there you go. Gibson moving from acoustic to electric, and the route they took. And if you have been, thanks for listening.